So good afternoon, everyone. Um, I hope the connection is good as of now. So we'll start the class. One second. Okay, so we will start the class. Um, so we are studying about wines of France. We have lost a few classes. Lost few classes. We have studying about the French wines and different regions of the wines and different grape varieties. We have studied about Bordeaux, Burgundy. We studied about Rhone Valley, Loire Valley, Alsace, Champagne. We studied about all the regions and grape varieties, and what are the appellations, what are the wine classification, everything we have seen. And last class we have started the wines of Italy, but there were some network error, so we couldn't able to continue the wines of Italy. So we will start again with the wines of Italy. Um, As I told you earlier, as I mentioned so many times, the wines of France and the wines of Italy, they both are very equal. When you compare with production process, when you compare with consuming, when you compare with the vineyards planting, everything. So France and Italy are very close each country in making wines. They are the one of the they are the largest wine producers in the world. Always who fights for the number one position. France, we've studied about a lot of grape varieties which was originated from the France, like Cabernet Sauvignon, like Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Merlot. So these are the principal grape varieties which were originated from France, and these grape varieties are worldwide grape varieties. So even India, we are having Chardonnay, we are having Sauvignon Blanc, we have other grapes also. It's worldwide grapes. But when you talk about Italy also they have some good worldwide grapes. But when you compare to the France, they didn't get that much famous, and it was not that much popular or well known outside of the Italy or outside of the Europe. So Italy have lot of wines, lot of wines. They have lot of local domestic grape varieties, which were very good actually, but it was not that much, popular. It was not that much popular when you compare with grapes like Chardonnay, grapes like Sauvignon Blanc, grapes like Pinot Noir, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Syrah. So these are the grapes or worldwide grapes as we know. But Italy grapes are, mostly they used for the domestically, and it is not so much famous in outside of the Europe or outside of the Italy. And of course, if you talk about Italy is very good wines. A lot of wines coming from Italy. They have huge regions. We studied about France. We studied about 13 wine producing regions in France. But when you talk about Italy, Italy has so many wine producing regions. It has huge number of wine producing vineyards and grape varieties than the France. So we'll study one by one. We'll see what are the grapes. We'll see what are the regions. Of course, we will not able to study all the regions, but we'll see what are the regions. What are the grape varieties. What is the difference between France and Italy? We will see one by one. Later I will show some video of Italy, so you will be able to understand. You will be able to easily connect with that. So so wine of Italy. So Italy is the largest wine producer in the world, equal to France. I told you already. It is one of the largest wine producer in the world, and both Italy and France are goes together. And 7 lakh 8,000 hectares of vineyard cultivation. They have a 7 lakh 8,000 vineyards. They have the plantings of vines. They have 45 to 50 million hectoliters per year, representing about one third of world production. Now you can imagine 45 to 50 million hectoliters of the wine being produced every year. That is Italy. Okay, that's why Italy is being named as the largest wine producer in the world. And if you ask about climate is the Mediterranean climate, and they're producing wines in various styles. Like they're producing dry wine, they're producing red wines, they're producing white wine, they're producing sweet wines. We studied about sweet wine Marsala from Italy. It's a sweet fortified wine, and they're producing sparkling wine, and they have all the wines, all varieties of wines they have Italy. And sparkling wine, Prosecco. Prosecco is from Italy, and Asti DOCG, Italy. Prosecco is a dry sparkling wine made from Glera grape. It comes from Italy, from the Veneto region. And if you talk about Asti DOCG, Asti DOCG is a sweet sparkling wine. Both sparkling wine we studied in the production of sparkling wines by tank method. We studied these grapes. These wines about Prosecco and as the DOCG. So we studied both of these wines. When we studied about the production of sparkling wines, and they have a 20 wine producing regions. I told you already, and 60 percentage have red wine region, and 40 they are white. So it's equal. Approximately. They have a both. They are giving equal to both red wines and white wines, but still red wines little dominating than the white. They have more than 2500 wines registered. Okay, totally they have 2500 wines registered. Is a huge number when you compare with other countries. In 2019, the last year, the Italy registered 18 percentage of global wine, 18% of wine production. Excuse me. Ahead of France. France was 17 percentage, and the third one is Spain is 15 percentage. So last year 2019, Italy ahead of France within 1 percentage. 1 percentage, Italy moved to first place when we compare with the France, and Italy was at 18 percentage, and France was at 17 percentage, and Spain was at 15 percentage. So imagine Italy, France, and Spain. When you calculate these wine productions of these three countries, it comes around 50 percentage of global wine production. So in the world, 50 percentage of the wines comes from Italy, Spain, and France. So this is you need to understand. This is something. 50 percentage of the wines in the world comes from these three countries. Last year, as per the statistics of the last year, Italy accounted for 18 percentage, and France was 17, and Spain was 15 percentage. So Italian wine are both exporting around the world. Uh, mostly they are available for local market, but still there are some wines also. They are exporting some wines worldwide. But most of the wines they're using for local consumption. It means it will be all the wines will be sold in the local market, and 22 percentage of the wines being exported, that is the export volume to other countries. Only 22 percentage remaining, 78 percentage of the wines being sold in the Italian wine market. More than 300 DOC and DOCG wines. So I have to tell you what is DOC, DOCG. We have studied about France, like AOC wines, the premium quality wines we have studied about France. These are the wine categories. So when you make a wine, your wine should go under any one of those categories. Then only it will be allowed to sell in the market. So it's up to the manufacturer what kind of wine he wants to make. Either he wants to make DOC wines, either he wants to make DOCG wines, or other categories wines. So normally DOCG and DOC is the premium category wines. It's like a AOC. DOC is like AOC. DOCG is a little higher than the DOC, but both are comes in the same standard. But still, there are few percentage ahead the DOCG wines than the DOC wines. So DOC is and DOCG are the premium quality wines. So out of they have 2,500 wines, they have 300 DOC and DOCG wines they have. So it is a good number, and Italy is one of the premium wine producing country in the world, no doubt in that. So when you talk about the history, um, Italy, yes, Italy is one of the old world wine country. With the France, Germany, and Spain. And Italy has 4,000 years of wind cultivation experience. Imagine 4,000 years, family by family, generation by generation, decades by decades, century by centuries, they are producing wines. 4,000 years is not an easy number. It's not a small number. So most of the people, they're producing wines, family by family, generation by generation. And the present wine companies, most probably it all must have started by their great grandfathers, or before that, even before that. So this is how the Italy having that experience of cultivating the grapes and maintaining the vineyards and producing the wines. It is believed that Italy wine or planting the vineyards, started and established by Etruscans and Greeks. They were living in Italy in 9000 BC. Sorry, 900 BC. BC 900. They have started to cultivate the vineyards. They cultivate the grapes. They started the planting the vineyards, and they only who established the vineyards plantation. Then we all know during Middle Ages they have started giving importance to the local, means they have started to make proper vineyards. They started to use the proper cultivation system, proper harvesting system, and proper water irrigation system, and proper method of aging system. These are all monitored, and this all are improvised by the Middle Ages people. Then after the Roman during the Roman Empire, the Italian wines started to export to other countries. The trading system been launched by Roman empires, because Roman empires playing a major role in all the world wine countries, who have promoted the wines, who have taken the wines to different level. And because they are the one who transferred who the wines from one country to another country. They are the one who spreaded the drinking culture of wines, and the wines, very famous wine, they only have spreaded everything. So the Roman empires always playing a major role in promoting the wines, in spreading the wines. And after 19th century, it was all great improvement, because the modern techniques, modern technology has been used, and lot of people started studying about wine. So the wine knowledge has been increased among the world people, and not only in Europe, in outside of Europe also, people started to knowing about the wines. Okay, so these are all happened in 19th century. And we all know 1936, France was established by appellation the origin control, that is AOC system been launched in France in 1936. In Italy, when you talk about Italy, they launched the first official Italian wine classification system, that is DOC and DOCG. It was launched in 1963. After this era, after this period, how the France was developed, the great growth after 1936, after the AOC appellation. Same happened with Italy. Italy also saw a huge growth after 1963, because wine manufacturers have started investment, because these appellations like AOC, DOC, it was created, it was implemented to protect the wines, to protect the winemakers, to protect the money. Because before the World War, after the World War, people are very worrying about this, very scared about us investing money in the wine business. But after this appellation, it gives lot of norms and regulations. It gives lot of positive hope for making wines, or cultivating the grapes, or planting the vineyard. So after these appellations like the AOC and DOC, and everything has changed, and there were plenty of growth, plenty of winemakers have come to take part in the production of wines. So this is small history. How the wines been developed, the improved refinement in Italy. So from last 4,000 years, they are producing the wines. Maybe the technology might have changed, but still, Italy is always standing tall in making wines when you compare with other countries. So, uh, if you see the wine label terms, this is what we discussed. This is what I was telling. Uh, the Italian wine classification. If we talk about Italian wine classification, the premium quality wine, that is called DOCG, denomination the origin controllata garnacha. This DOCG stands tall, and very limited wines comes in the name of DOCG. Is a most premium quality wine, And next DOC, denomination origin control at all, it is equal to AOC of France. We studied about AOC wine of France. This is equal to AOC. And the third category is IGT, indication category Tropica. This is, the third category where we have a lot of wines comes under this category. And the last one is VDT, Vinoda Tavala. So these are the lowest categories of the wine. It's not a premium quality, but still these are the wines being produced in large numbers. They don't mention anything about grape. They don't care about what region it is from. It will be written simply it's from wines of Italy, and we don't know what method they have been followed, and we don't know what principal grape varieties we have used, and maybe there are a lot of blendings might happen, and this all happened in these last two categories. But still, DOCG and DOC stands tall for the premium quality wines. They're producing the best, amazing wines, and the most of the wines been export from these categories. When you talk about VDT, so VDT is the last one, the lowest category. The lowest category. This is stable wine. Is a basic wine category, mostly for the local consumption. These wines are mostly not exported wines. These are the local consumption. They don't maintain proper grape variety they have to use. They can use any grape. They can use any blend in any ratio. No rules and no regulations. No much restrictions. Okay. So this is the VDT. The second one is IGT. IGT is the wine produced in specific area. Yes, of course, they produce specific area, and it's a quality is little higher than the VDT. It's producing some good quality wines, but when you compare with DOC, it's not that much DOC, but still, IGT wines are compared with other VDT. IGT wines are good wines. Can be mentioned where it comes from, and but still there are a lot of restrictions for DOC. That restrictions are not for IGT. So this is in the third category. When you talk about DOC, DOC is a controlled designation of origin, one of the premium quality wine producing category, produced within the specified region using defined methods and the quality standard. Everything will be defined there. What method the wine is being made, and what specific which region, which commune it comes from, and what are the principal grape varieties which used. So the DOC holds the norms and regulations, and it governs the body. And if your wine comes under this norms and regulations, then your wine will be labeled as a DOC wine. Otherwise, they will not give you the DOC appellation. So DOC appellation means you have to follow all the standard, all the measurements which governed by the body, like which region it from, which grape variety it from. Have you followed the particular method of making process which was governed by DOC law? So these are all need to be followed if your wine want to be as a DOC wine. So that's very simple. Same like a DOCG. DOCG is a little higher version than DOC. Controlled designation of origin guarantee. Yes, the very simple. It's same like exact DOCG. But what happens? The tasting and analyzed by a government body. So this is the only difference what I found between DOC and DOCG. The DOCG wines also the taste and flavor and characteristics have been analyzed, have been checked by the government body, and then it will be allowed to sell in the market, or it will be allowed to export to other countries. So this is one of the main reason. This is one of the main difference between DOC and DOCG. Let me tell you very simple. DOC and DOCG are very equal. Both very equal categories, but both are very strict about the particular specified region. They have to specify the region where it comes from, and they have to mention the method of making process they've used, and what quality standard they maintain, and what is the process of aging, and what is the process of transferring, and what is the process of everything. harvesting, from the harvesting to winemaking and aging and filtering, everything they have to follow the norms and regulations and standards by this regulations. But divorce is a little higher than that, and the tasting and characteristics will be analyzed, will be checked by the government body whether we maintain the same taste and same character, same quality, every year we produce. So if you, then only it will be uh, allowed for selling in the market. That's why the DOCG always stands first. Then DOC, then other category IGT and VDT is coming. So moving to next, these two important label terms you are seeing here. One is Classico, another one is Reserva. So Classico, if you find the wine with the label of Classico, means this is from the most important regions, the historic center regions of DOC and DOCG regions. On hills, best sites and best wines. This Classico wines means the wines produced from the grapes which have been planted in the hills, which are considered as the best regions. We know that any grape planted in the hillside, in the steep, in the slopes always gives the best result because there is no process of handling. Only everything will be done by manually. So this is one of the main reason. Classic wine styles from the region. So if any wine bottle we find in Italy, it's mentioned Classico, it is the superior version. This wine especially comes from the hillside, and it comes from the best wines. It comes from the best regions. Of course, there are 20 wine producing regions are there, but there are some best regions available. So that they will use the Classico. If your wine's been proven that this is the category that these wines comes from, this comes from this region, this comes from this part of the commune, this is using this method, then they will give a Classico. Apart from this is apart from the wine categories, apart from the four wine categories, this is extra labeling terms. If you see Reserva is DOC again. See, Classico and Reserva is compulsory DOC and DOCG wines. This is not suitable for VDT or another IGT wines. It's compulsorily for DOC and DOCG wines. So if a DOC and DOCG wines of if Reserva, they have higher alcohol percentage than the Classico, aged for a minimum number of months. Minimum 24 months should be aged. This is the one of the main things you need to understand. You need to note it out. So Classico, Reserva. So Reserva means Reserva have little higher amount of alcohol. Number two is very important, the aging. Minimum 24 months aging typically. It should be aged. So that is the one of the main. Then it will be labeled as a Reserva. So these are the main and two important labeling terms of Italy wines. So we can easily understand if it is written Reserva, it's in Classico. Easily you can connect. Okay, what wine it is and what type of aging and what type of regions, everything we can understand easily. Moving to regions of Italy. So the 20 wine producing regions I already told you. So there are 20 wine producing region. So 20 wine producing region, you can see the label. Sorry, so you can see in the map: Piedmont, Esto Valley, Liguria, Tuscany, Umbria, Latium, Campania, Calabria, Sicily, Abruzzo, Marches, Emilia, Veneto, Friuli, Trentino. So these are the wine producing regions of Italy. So there are 20 wine producing regions in Italy. So you should know these names, these 20 wine producing regions. But we are not going to study about all those 20. It is very heavy subject. and it's not for your syllabus. It's too much for you to learn. So I am taking very important particular wine producing regions of Italy. I will teach you. Some important wine producing regions. Still, we cannot able to teach all the regions. Just I'll see what are the regions I can cover. Uh, the main grape varieties of Italy. One is, if we talk about black grapes or red grapes, Nebbiolo is a very good, one of the premium wine, red grape variety of Italy. They making Barolo, DOCG, so many wines they are making. And the second one is Barbara. It's a lighter version of red grape variety. The third one is Sangiovese. So these are the three main grape varieties. Three main red grape varieties or black grape varieties. When talk about white grapes, Pinot Grigio, one of the premium white grape variety. Like we studied about Pinot Gris in Lower Valley. We studied about Pinot Gris grape. So the Pinot Gris is another name is called Pinot Grigio. Is very famous in Italy, and Garnaia is another one, another white grape variety, and Cartese is also another white grape variety. So apart from the Italy have more than 1,000 different grape varieties. I told you, Italy has a more number of grape varieties than France, and all domestic grapes. So Italy have lot of plenty of grape varieties. But when you talk about this very famous, very popular grapes, then these are the grapes. If you talk about blacks, Nebbiolo, Barbaro, Sangiovese. When you talk about white, then it's Pinot Grigio, Garnacha, and Cartese. So these are the premium red grapes and white grape varieties which are used mostly in making in good wines, good premium quality wines from Italy. So uh, I told you there are 20 wine producing regions. As we are not able to study all those 20 wine producing regions, first we'll start Piedmont. So Piedmont is one of the finest wine producing region of Italy, producing some good quality wines. Really, Piedmont. You can see the region. The statistics: its total vineyard 60,000 hectares. 60,000 hectares total. Vineyards they have. Total wine production is 27 lakhs hectoliters. 27 lakhs hectoliters they are producing per year, and out of this 27 lakhs you see DOC and DOCG wines are 22 lakhs, approximately 3 lakhs, 22 lakhs 76,353 hectoliters. So it's very near to 3 lakhs. So if you can say it's around 70% of the wines of from Piedmont is DOC and DOC, because literally it's a foothills. It's a hills area, very steep, bordered by the Alps mountain in north and west. It's very close border of France and Switzerland, and its a climate is a very good continental climate. Long cold winters. Imagine long cold winters. Of course, they have some humid, climate. The one of the most important why the one of the most important why the Piedmont region is very famous, because this is the cultivation hills. The cultivation happening in a hills area. If you talk about the soils, marl and limestone soils, so Piedmont is one of the very famous wine producing sub-region, wine producing region in Italy. Uh, Around 70 to 80% of the wines are DOC wines. So this is one of the most premium wine producing region in France. Uh, when you talk about white wine, white grape varieties, they have a Moscato. Moscato is very good wine. This was used. This is used to make Asti Spumante, the sparkling wine. We studied about the sparkling wine. So this wine, this grape is used to make the Asti Spumante or Spumante Asti. These are sparkling wines. And second white grape variety is the Cartese. Cartese is also used to make good wine called Gavi. Gavi is one of the premium quality wine, comes from white wine, comes from Italy, from Piedmont region. Cartese di Gavi or Gavi di Gavi. So these two, this grape helps to produce these two premium quality wines, which comes from Piedmont region. And the third grape is called Arnis. So Earnest oil is very dry and soft and fruity nature grape, and this also used to make a lot of wines as a blending. It helps in the blending, and it helps to make a lot of good quality wines. When you talk about red wine grape varieties, so red, first one is Barbara. Barbara is very good grape variety. It is used to, it's a soft and fruity modern style of aging, and it's very high tannin. And Dolcetto is one of the deep colored grape, and it can be tannin and quite rustic. And third one is Nebbiolo, one of the principal grape variety of Italy, and the finest, it make finest wine of the world, and sometimes late ripening. So what comes is light color, very good tannin, and medium acidity. And these are the Barolo DOCG wines and Barbasco DOCG wines, one of the most premium quality wines, comes from Piedmont region, made by Nebbiolo grape. So, guys, you need to understand. You don't need to remember all the regions or all the wines, but at least you need to remember. You need to understand. You need to know. You need to keep in mind at least the premium quality wines from the Italy and from the regions. So we are talking about the Piedmont region. So Piedmont region is one of the most premium quality wine producing region in Italy, because the cultivation in hills happening, and it's a the very good continental climate they have. And of course they have some humid in summers, and they have some good grape varieties. We talk about white grape, we have seen some good white grapes we have seen. And if you talk about red wine grape, they have a good red grape. One of the premium grape varieties called Nebbiolo comes from Piedmont region. It gives a lot of premium quality wines. It gives a lot of premium quality wines. um, you know it one of the finest wines made by Nebbiolo grape. And the best example is Barolo DOCG. The Barolo DOCG and Barbaresco DOCG wines, one of the most premium quality wine in the world, not only Italy, in the world. Then when you talk about Veneto, so Veneto is also one of the good wine producing region. We are not. I told you already. We are not going to study about all the wine producing regions. We will study about some few regions. The very famous and very fine wines comes from those regions. We will study that regions. So again, Veneto is total vineyards is 19,000 hectares. Is bigger than the Piedmont region. Uh, 19,000 hectares is 35,400 or DOC and DOCG hectares. Around 40 percentage they have DOCG. Total wine production is 85 lakhs hectoliters. Apart from that, DOC and DOCG wines of 17 lakhs hectoliters. Okay, it's around 30 percentage. You can say 30 or 40 20 percentage. Uh, you know. DOCG wines they are producing. Literally in foothills again, bordered by the Alps, maritime influence, very harsh summers and foggy winters. They have a lot of foggy, and summer is very harsh. They have, and they have some alluvial and limestone soils. They have. This is also one of the good wine producing region, Veneto. But majorly they have other wines, not DOC, not DOCG wines. They have local wines like IGT wine. They have BDT wines. White grapes is Garnega is one of the finest white grape, and Prosecco we have Trebbiano, one of the very good white grape variety. Talk about red grapes, Corvino, it comes from Veneto region, Molinara and Rodinella. So these are the premium grape varieties comes from Veneto region. We talk about white grapes, Garnaga is very good and Trebbiano is very good. When you talk about red grapes, Corvina is very good and Molinara is very good. So these are the premium, grape varieties of Veneto region. When we talk about Veneto main wines, We already discussed the prosecco when we studied about prosecco in sparkling wine production. The prosecco is comes from Veneto region, a brewed sparkling wine made from Glera grape, and the second best wines are Sauve Superior DOCG. So Sauve Superior DOCG is a premium white wine made from Garnega, the white grape variety which is produced in Veneto region. If we talk about third wine, Valpolicella DOCG, one of the best wine, one of the premium wine in the world, Valpolicella DOCG, very good wine, very finest wine in the world, if you can say. It's the red wine made from Corvina, Molinera, and Rodinella, the three grapes being used to make this Valpolicella DOCG. And the fourth wine, if you can, is Ricotta. So the Ricotta is desert wine made from the dried grapes, and both is also involved in making sweet wines. So if you can listen to me, I will explain this risotto. So this is a desert wine made from the dried grapes, and mostly it is produced by dry grapes. Then sometimes it's allowed for botrytis also. Dear students, please listen one thing. Sweet wines can be made in three ways. Please listen very carefully. Sweet wines can be made in three ways. One is sun-dried grapes. What happened? The grapes will be dried. It will be made in the sun-dried grapes. Number two is late harvesting. That is called sun-dried grapes. Sorry, the late harvesting is called sun-dried grapes. So what happened? They will not harvest the grapes on the time. So the manufacturers will allow the grapes will be in the plant only. So what happens? The plant will be in the sunlight and it will start getting dry. So that is called late harvesting grape. So what happened? If you make the wine with those grapes, it will become a sweet wine because it's very dry. It's like a raisins. If you make wine from that grape, it will be sweet wine. Second process. One is, I told you, sun-dried, the late harvesting. The second process, the frozen grape. The grape made by frozen grapes. If you go to Canada, Germany, you will have a lot of freezed vineyards, frozen vineyards. So what happens? If the grapes are frozen, if grapes are frozen, if you crush the grape, what will happen? The frozen content, the water content will be frozen. That will be removed from the wine, removed from the grape. So what happened? Remaining only the pulp will be there. The sweetness will be there. If you make wine from that, grape, it will become sweet wine. That's called a lot of ice wine. Canada and Germany is famous for ice wine. So ice wine made from frozen grapes. It's a very sweet wine. So frozen grapes means the grapes will be freezed. So when you crush for making wine, so what happened? All the frozen things will go out. All the ice cubes forms will go out. Only the remaining pulp or sweetness will be there. Then if you make a wine from those grapes, it will be a sweet wine. The third method is botrytis, one of the most important method. So we've all studied about noble rot in the pest and disease. I am telling you again, we all studied about noble rot. So noble rot, what happens? Noble rot will make holes on the skins. So all the water content will evaporate. So it is a pest, but sometimes noble rot purposely will be allowed. That is called botrytis. So botrytis grapes means the grapes will be allowed for noble rot. The noble rot will make holes on the skins of the grape, and all the water content will be evaporate. Then the only remaining sugars will be there. If you make wine from those grapes, it will become a sweet wine. That is called botrytis. So these are the three methods of making sweet wines in the world. One is late harvesting, that is called sun-dried grapes. Second one is frozen grapes. Third one is botrytis, that is noble rot. So you need to understand this. We will study more about this when we get a chance in upcoming class. So coming back to Valpolicella styles. So I told you Valpolicella is one of the premium quality red grape. Sorry, red wine comes from Veneto region, made by three grapes. Okay, Corniva and Milanoro, and these are the three grapes are used to make this Valpolicella wine. So Valpolicella is a different styles. Valpolicella DOC they have, Valpolicella Superior DOC, which means dry red wine, 12 months aging, and Amaron del Valpolicella DOCG means dry red, 24 months aging. Look at the alcohol percentage, 14 alcohol percentage, maximum alcohol percentage, and Risotto della Valpolicella DOCG. Risotto is also sweet wine. Risotto is also red wine. So sweet red wine, partially dried and minimum 14% ABV. Risotto della Valpolicella Spumante DOCG. If wherever you find the word called Spumante is a sparkling wine. Spumante is sparkling, nothing. Spumante is sparkling. So Spumante means sparkling wine. The Risotto della Valpolicella, they have sparkling wine also with the DOCG category. Sweet red wine and sparkling minimum 14% ABV. So these are the five styles of Valpolicella. So Valpolicella, one of the most important red wine comes from Veneto region, made by those three grapes, and it produces a lot of red wines and all different styles. We have DOC and we have DOCG styles. When it Tuscany, so Tuscany is one of the most important wine producing region in Italy. First one is we have seen Piedmont. The second one is Veneto. The third one is Tuscan. So Tuscan wines are the most premium quality wines than the previous two regions. So one of the best region in Italy, you can say Tuscany. When you study about Tuscany, total vineyard 66,000 hectares. 35,400 hectares are DOC and DOCG hectares. Total wine production 28 lakhs hectoliters. Among that 28 percentage, 62 percentage, sorry, 28 lakh hectoliter, 62 percentage are DOC and DOCG wines, which means 17 lakh 50,000 hectoliters wines are DOC and DOCG wines. So when you talk about total wine production, 28 lakhs hectoliters of total wine production. Out of total, DOC and DOCG wines are 17 lakh 49,600 hectoliters. That is 62 percentage. Located in central Italian hills and moderate and Mediterranean influence and continental climate, sand, clay, and local soils, and also they are having granite, and they are having gravel dominates. So these are the brief about Tuscan region, one of the very good region, wine producing region, and it's a hills area which is located in central Italy. Central Italy producing good quality wines, and the climate is also very moderate, and the Mediterranean climate. When you talk about the Tuscan wines, so one of the most important, like we study about Valpolicella. So same, like there is a one more premium red wine comes from Tuscan, Chianti DOCG. Chianti DOCG, one of the most you can say one of the very important red wine from Italy, available worldwide. Even you will get in Hyderabad, you will get in any part of India, you will get Chianti DOCG easily available. So made by more than 75% Sangiovese grape. So Sangiovese grape is a principal grape variety for Chianti region, Chianti wines, and it's a superior high alcohol beverage. If it is a reserva, aging minimum 24 months. So Chianti DOCG, it can be reserva or non-reserva. Reserva means minimum aging 24 months. Chianti Classico DOCG, the Classico term we are using here, made by more than 80% of Sangiovese grape. The compulsory they have to use 80% Sangiovese grape. Remaining they can use any local grapes, red grapes they can use. That's not a problem. Long-lived wines, the Chianti Classico, and the aging, if it's called reserva, the aging should be minimum 24 months. Brunello di Montalcino DOCG, made from 100% Sangiovese. There is no other grape will be used. 100% Sangiovese grape, and traditionally aged in large casks. Traditionally aged in the big barrels. And minimum, you see here, minimum aging periods 50 months. Minimum it should be aged 50 months, and if it's the reservoir, then minimum age for 60 months. If you want to keep reservoir, it's a manufacturer wish. If you want to have a reservoir name, because reservoir is a premium quality, so if reservoir name, you need to have more aging. So aging process should go, minimum aging period they should maintain. For Chianti reservoir, they should maintain minimum 24 months. Chianti Classico DOCG minimum aging 24 months. Brunello di Montalcino, they have to have minimum 60 months, 5 years aging period. So these are the best Tuscan wines, comes from Tuscany region. And you can see fourth one is Vino Nobile di Mantopristano DOCG, made by 70% of Sangiovese. Sangiovese, one of the principal grape variety in Tuscan region. So, note it out. Sangiovese, one of the principal grape variety. And Bolgheri DOC Bianco. Bolgheri is one of the premium white wine. Comes from Tuscany region, made by blend of Trebbiano, Vermentino, and Sauvignon Blanc. This Bolgheri is made by three grapes blend: Trebbiano and Vermentino and Sauvignon Blanc. And if you talk about Bolgheri, DOC, Rosso, and Rosetto, this is a rose wine and red wine made from the blend of Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot and Sangiovese. If it's called Bolgheri DOC Sasasia, which means it's made by minimum 18%, 80% of Cabernet Sauvignon. And eighth wine is called Vernaccia di San Gimignano DOCG. It's a dry light wine made from the Vernaccia grape. The ninth one is Vian Santo, the desert wine made by dried Trebbiano and Malvasia grapes. So we have studied, Piedmont region, Veneto region, Tuscany region. These three regions, one of the most important quality wines, quality wines being produced from these regions. And Tuscany is one of the very famous wine producing region. If you talk about the plenty of wines like Chianti, one of the finest wine comes from Tuscany, and Bolgheri, one of the finest wines comes from Tuscany, and if you talk about Valpolicella, one of the finest red wine comes from Veneto region. So Italy has a lot of great quality wines, but all those wines is not up to the world market. Okay, still they are the largest wine producer in the world. You have to admit it. So Italian wines always 60% of the wines are red wines and 40% of the wines are white wines. So it's an equal quantity, approximately 60-40. And the wines are very superb. And we have seen around three regions. We have seen the three regions, one of the finest regions, producing wines in Italy. I think time is around 1. So maybe tomorrow I will show the video. I want to show the video of Italy wines, so you will easily get connect. Then we will move to wines of Spain, one of the third largest wine producer in the world, the wines of Spain. So we've done with the wines of France, we've done with the wines of Italy. Next class we will study about wines of Spain, and before that I want to show video for Italy wines. The discovery of Italy wines. At least we'll see about Central Italy, not all the regions. At least we'll see Tuscany region or Central Italy. So that is for the day, guys. I hope you are all keeping safe and you're staying home. Take care, and and keep learning. Your exams are very near, so keep learning. And this is one of the most important times we have to use for your studies. Keep learning and study well. Stay safe, and you will get the, already you have received the examination timetable and everything. So most probably you will be having exam from 27th April, and then you will be having seeing the situation, then we'll take a call how we are going to run the classes and everything. So until that, we'll see tomorrow. Bye bye, take care.